So I'm a medical student, and I'm going to be on medical marijuana.
Nah, I should be fine. I'm on the non-psychoactive component, but maybe I should have thought this through. Nah, but seriously.
Comment below if you have any questions about how you can get it in Australia, what I'll talk about most in this video. But also if you want me to look into the data on various other conditions like chronic pain, cancer, even mental illnesses, I use my research degree and med student knowledge to look into it. I'm totally unbiased in this. I have a very open mindset about drugs, but I also hate when people overblow things and try to convince others to not get cancer treatments and instead take only weed. So I could see both sides. But yeah, recently I went to America, Las Vegas specifically, where weed is legal, and I'd read about medicinal marijuana for my condition specifically, and a few others for friends. There's a chance that it could help me and help me heaps, so why not try it, I thought. So I did. And it was great. See, I have chronic graft versus host disease, severe heart disease, and this causes me to have spastic, constant, painful muscle tightness and cramps. I also have this burning, fatiguing feeling all over my body every single day. It goes on in my arms, legs, chest, even facial muscles. Basically, every movement is 10 times harder for me. It can really suck at times. But after taking it, within an hour, I felt great. I mean, the high was great too, not gonna lie. It's probably helpful for mental illnesses, though I haven't looked into that. Ask your doctors. But my body felt normal. My arms and legs and back weren't tight, and I felt like they were full of energy. You guys without disability or chronic illnesses, don't take that ish for granted, man. Especially if you're young. So when I got back home, I looked into medical marijuana, and look, I'm a medical researcher and medical student. I thought it was still only being used in clinical trials or maybe for some very niche conditions, and also that maybe cops didn't prosecute you if you had a small amount of weed and had a medical condition. But it turns out it's actually legal and something your doctors can prescribe, and it's not even that expensive. How it works right now, basically, you can consult a doctor. Some of them have done special training on it. They're really good. And then they'll ask you a bunch of questions. I talked to this GP from a company called Relief Clinic on the phone, and it wasn't a formality or anything. He was good. I have chronic graft versus host disease, which happens to maybe 1,000 or 2,000 people in Australia tops who've had bone marrow transplants. He knew about it. He asked questions that were spot on and looked at my medications. In other words, he did what you'd expect a specialist to do. This doctor, and probably a few more, you can actually see through Medicare, which is Australia's free or rebated health system. And if you see them in person, you can get it 100% free, so definitely look into that. Then you have some legal requirements. So as of February 2022, what dictates if someone can get it or not, you ask your doctor who will assess what you have, and one, he sees if your condition is on the list of those medical marijuana can be used for. This graph shows how many prescriptions are given and for what in 2019. Pain, anxiety, cancer treatment, and things like epilepsy were the most used, but this isn't an exhaustive, and it'll change over time as we learn more about marijuana too. Next, your doctor fills in this special access form. Medical marijuana has to go through special access scheme B. I'll link this below, and some states have different requirements. For example, in 2019, Tasmania didn't require any clinical justification to get weed. As long as your doctor thought it was okay, he could get it. On the other end, ACT requires a letter of support from a specialist in particular. Your doctor will know what is best for now, and if they don't, there are these special medical marijuana trained doctors out there. So I got mine because of my spasticity and chronic pain, but a few other indications are there. Ask your doctors. But there are a lot of indications out there. Ask your doctors. They know best. My specialist actually referred me to it a few years ago now that I think about it. 3, there's another condition. You can't get this first or even second line treatment, meaning you have to have failed 2 usual treatments to be able to get it. And some mental illnesses and things like unstable heart disease could disqualify you from it too. But then that form's approved. It takes only a few days to do so. And next you have to get it dispensed. And there are hundreds of products out there for this, which is why a weed doctor might be best. Most pharmacies use oil, some even give you the flower, but there are pharmaceutically formulated ones which have different ratios of the 2 main components, CBD and THC. Yeah, but Each of these components, they have different effects. We don't know all about them yet, but THC is the one that gets you high, and that's the one that can be detected if you're driving, and it can be in your system for a while, so there's always a disclaimer: you shouldn't be driving if you're on THC. CBD, on the other hand, is relatively inert, and apparently it doesn't come up on driving tests. Ask your doctors again. My doctor said that, but ask your doctors. But this is something I also wanted to emphasize. Many people say weed is completely harmless. It's just a plant. But you know what? So is hemlock. Yes, weed is quite safe in most cases, but there are associations with weed and some severe mental illnesses and anxiety, which can be severe too. There are some who get gut complications. There is a little bit of addiction, not as high rates, and there's no physical addiction pathway, but addiction still happens. You know, gut complications exist, but from the literature, actually a few gut conditions can be helped by medical marijuana, they're thinking. And how this isn't medical advice again, but if you want me to look up something for your condition, just generally sum up the literature, I can do that too. Comment below. But yeah, basically, be careful, listen to your doctors, but still be open to it, because it could help. You definitely should not be going out and telling people that it cures their cancer. Yes, it can help, not just for cancer chemo side effects, but it seems to kill cancer cells too. I know people who are only alive probably because of marijuana, but I've also had close friends who had good chances of survival with conventional therapy who didn't and ended up dying because a friend told them, weed would kill you, bro. Be very careful when you're giving people health advice, people. But yeah, that's it. Have a look at the links below that get into all of this. Subscribe, because I'll do more videos on this and show you how I go on it, but also I can look up other medical conditions, as I've said. I'm a 3-time cancer survivor who's had pain, heart surgery, developed diabetes, has this complex, serious autoimmune disorder. But I'm also a poker pro, a cancer researcher, a med student, and startup founder too. So you may be interested in those kind of things. I'm just trying to help people as much as I can. I hope some of this helps you too if you're confused. And yeah, talk to me. Thanks, and you can also email me.